Gary Antuanne Russell is on Devin the Dream Haney's helmet. He coming after Devin Haney, and he say Devin Haney got to see him very, very soon, and it ain't going to be no way he can duck him. We're going to talk about exactly what Gary had to say about Devin Haney. I'm going to let y'all hear the audio on what he had to say. But before we do that, make sure you hit my like button, subscribe to the channel, and we going to cook on it. Ever since Ryan Garcia did what he did to Devin, Devin is looking like food out here at the 140-pound or the 147-pound division. Now, I'm not saying he food, but I'm saying that if you ask the fans and if you ask a lot of his boxing peers, they think Devin Haney is food. And one of the ones that think Devin Haney is food and thinks he will run through Devin Haney just like Ryan Garcia did, or even worse than Ryan Garcia did, if you ask me, yeah, he'll do him way worse than what Ryan Garcia did. But I'm talking about none other than Gary Antuanne Russell. And Gary Russell, just like myself, believes that, yeah, you know, Ryan, he did have some stuff in his system, but when he watched that fight, it wasn't because of whatever Ryan Garcia had in his system from now a tainted supplement. We know that. Or, well, we're going to find that out real, real soon to be official. But Gary Antuanne Russell says it's because Devin Haney has always had these flaws in his arsenal, and he finally stepped in the ring with somebody that was as big as him, that was faster than him, that was much more powerful, and that was able to exploit these defensive flaws that Devin Haney has. He talked about how Devin Haney ain't never had no head movement. He don't have good defense. He gets hit a lot. And we've seen all of this in Devin Haney's fights. And even when he fights lesser competition like a JoJo Diaz, we've seen it before. This ain't the first time. It's just the first time someone has been in the ring, like we said, that he didn't have a huge size advantage of, that was able to exploit these problems that Devin has had. Now, I know some of y'all is already mad and crying. Well, get mad and bite blood out your bottom lip, because it don't matter. You can't change what happened in the ring to Devin Haney, and you ain't going to be able to change what's going to happen down the line to Devin Haney if he step in the ring with that killer Gary Antuanne Russell. And more so than that, if he continues to lie to himself and refuse to believe that he just have flaws in his game that he needs to fix and get better. If he continues to pretend like the only reason he lost to Ryan Garcia is because 0.6 of a billionth of a gram of a whatever the hell it was in his system, he needs to face the reality that he has things that he needs to work on. If he don't, it's going to get a lot worse for Devin Haney. Now, Gary Russell, if you didn't know, he's going to be fighting on the undercard of Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin, which is a hell of a fight card. And Gary's going to be facing Alberto Puello. Now, Alberto Puello, he's a fighter that's popped dirty for PEDs in the past. But you think Gary Russell even give a damn about that? He don't care about that, because Gary Russell says it ain't about what they have in their system. It's about what skills they have in their arsenal. And most people know that Gary Antuanne Russell is highly skilled with a whole bunch of punching power and explosiveness, and he know how to put it all together when he get in the ring. Now, if you ask me, Puello that he will be fighting, Alberto Puello ain't no pushover. He's undefeated himself, and I think he's a more dangerous fighter than even Devin Haney is in the 140-pound division. So Gary Antuanne Russell, he definitely don't have an easy fight on his hands, but I'm looking for him to eventually get the knockout and do what Gary Antuanne Russell always does. I believe that Gary Antuanne Russell is 16-0 with 16 knockouts, and I know whether it's 16-0 or 17-0, he has 100% knockout ratio. And I look at him to go in there and continue that knockout ratio that he has. Now, as far as Devin the Dream Haney, I'm going to let y'all hear what he had to say about Devin the Dream Haney and about him soon to become Devin Haney's mandatory if Devin doesn't lose that strap before he gets to Devin. And before I play this, make sure that y'all go check out the full interview on my man Mill City Boxing, because if you don't know, they putting together the realest, dopest interviews out here on this YouTube. So make sure that y'all go subscribe to Mill City Boxing if y'all not already subbed to him. This is what Gary Antuanne Russell had to say about Devin Haney.
Like I said, I get in a position where as though they can't run from me. I dust this dude, Pollo, Devin Haney, you got to see me. You have to see me. If not, you're going to vacate. Devin Haney or Sandor Martin. One of y'all, anybody who have WBC title, y'all got to see me. Y'all can't step aside. They can't put nobody up else in the rankings and say, oh, you got to fight him before you fight. You can't do that. Why? Because I'm ranked. I'm the mandatory at that point. I'm in a position where so you cannot run. And that's what I'm going to do for every division. For every single division. Y'all not going to step aside. Y'all not going to duck me.
Take step aside money at this point in time in your career?
Man, it better be some buku stuff. Other than that, like I said, I'm doing this for the sport. The sport right now is being pacified. It's being pussified. I don't like that. We ain't been in this sport for as long as we have been, just so it can turn upside down like this. Negative.
And so you heard what my man Gary Antuanne Russell said. It ain't going to be no step aside money. Ain't no way for you to duck and hide. And the only way I'm taking step aside money, it got to be millions on top of millions, is what he said. And they went on to ask him, how would a fight between him and Devin Haney look? He said Devin going to get the same thing that happened to him in the Ryan Garcia fight, but worse. And the bad thing about this is Gary Antuanne Russell is hungry. Y'all don't understand. Gary Antuanne Russell, he came in with the same group as the Ryan Garcias and the Devin Haneys and the Shakur, but he way far behind them because he haven't been promoted right. The PBC, unfortunately, they set him on the shelf and they wouldn't give him fight, so he hungry. And it's dangerous dealing with a fighter that has the skills, the power, the explosiveness that he does, and the hunger that he does on top of all of that. He ready to kill some shit. And it's unfortunate that it gotta be Devin Haney, because I know y'all biting blood out your bottom. No, man, you just hate Devin Haney. You're just a Devin hater. No, it's unfortunate that it gotta be Devin Haney. But the thing is, you heard what Gary Antuanne said. Anybody that got the WBC strap, you in my way and I gotta run through you. So we know that Devin has the WBC strap. If Devin get past Sandor Martin, who is his mandatory challenger, well, we heard what Gary said, man. It ain't no ducking him. It ain't no way around it. He's waited long enough and more patiently than he should have waited or should have had to wait. Because in my opinion, Gary Antuanne Russell is much more skilled and a much better fighter than Devin Haney. And shit, most of all of them fighters at 140 pounds. I think the best fight at 140 is between Gary Antuanne Russell and Subriel Matisse. To me, those are the two killers in that division, and those are the two best fighters in that division. Yes, we still got Teofimo Lopez, a hell of a fighter. We got guys like Richardson Hitchens, a hell of a fighter. I mean, the whole weight division is stacked. And no, I am not leaving Devin Haney out of the best fighters at 140 because he's still one of the best fighters at 140 pounds. They just have to match make Devin Haney very carefully and put him in there with the right type of fighter. But somebody got to see Gary Antuanne Russell, and it's looking like it's going to be Devin the Dream Haney if, it's a big if in this, if the sanctioning bodies do their job. Now we know that Devin got a mandatory coming up against Sandor Martin, probably gonna be his next fight. And then after that, Devin don't have to defend his WBC strap against a mandatory for like another year. So, man, the unfortunate thing for Gary Antuanne Russell is he gonna have to wait a minute before he get a Devin Haney fight. But in between then, it's a lot of fighters at 140 pounds that can get the smoke, that probably don't want to smoke with Gary Antuanne Russell, but that Gary Antuanne Russell can step in the ring with, build his resume until he maybe face Devin Haney or whoever has that WBC strap at that time. But I do want to see him and Devin Haney fight, and it'll be a casualty. But anyway, y'all let me know how y'all feel about what Gary Antuanne Russell had to say. Y'all give me your opinion in the comments. Make sure you hit my like button, subscribe to the channel, and y'all already know how I do. Diego talking that boxing again, and I'm gone.
In a quota that no soft enough to get me shook up, but now I got the cook up. And since they didn't book us, every time you look up, I'm riding.